All right, so let's jump right into it. Um, you've sent over a ton of articles about AI in consulting.
Yeah, it's quite the rabbit hole.
It really is. We've
Yeah.
got stuff about big firms using AI tools, then a bunch on independent consultants too,
Yeah.
and even a whole guide on using AI for strategy consulting.
It feels like every day there's a new article about how AI is going to revolutionize everything.
And it probably will in some ways, right?
Yeah.
But I think the key is figuring out the real impact for people like our listeners, consultants who are trying to stay ahead of the curve. So
Yeah, exactly. Like, how do we actually use these tools? What are the real opportunities? And I think what everyone's secretly wondering is like, will AI take our jobs?
definitely. Let's
Yeah.
not sugarcoat it. There's some anxiety out there.
Yeah.
So that's our mission for this deep dive, I think, to cut through all the hype and get the practical stuff.
Yeah.
What can AI really do for your consulting business?
Sounds like a plan.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So to kick things off, you sent over this Deltec article with a top 10 list of AI tools for consultants.
Yeah, that one.
And it's curated by ChatGPT itself, which I thought was pretty funny.
Oh, yeah. That was a good one. It basically put itself at the top of the list.
It's like it's saying, hey, we can do your job now. But uh, all jokes aside, that list is a good starting point, right? It gives us a sense of what's out there.
For sure. So we've got AI for writing, like with copy.ai. Then there's phrase.io for SEO.
Phrase is interesting. It's kind of like SEO on autopilot from what I've read.
Pretty much. And then there's even AI for images now with stockymag.ai. You can basically generate custom images for presentations or whatever you need.
So we've got writing research images. What else?
Then you've got the big players like IBM Watson and Salesforce Einstein. These are more like platforms, they can do a ton of different things.
Deltec actually uses IBM Watson in their own software, which is
Oh,
interesting.
wow. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's kind of cool to see these AI giants getting integrated into the tools that consultants are already using.
Yeah. Makes you wonder what's next, right?
Absolutely. And then for all the tedious tasks that we all hate, there's UiPath for automation.
Ugh, UiPath.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good one. You can basically automate all those repetitive tasks that take up so much time.
Like updating spreadsheets and generating reports, things that make you want to pull your hair out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that Deltec list really does cover a lot of ground. I mean, there's something in there for pretty much every type of consultant.
It is a good overview.
Yeah.
So from all of that, what stands out to you? Anything you're already using or want to try?
Let me think. Actually, yeah, there are a couple that I'm really curious about.
Okay, let's hear it.
So first off, phrase.io. I've heard good things about it, and I'm always looking for ways to improve my SEO. It's such a time suck.
Totally.
And then UiPath, I haven't used it personally, but I've seen some demos, and it's pretty impressive. The things you can automate with that are insane.
Yeah, it's definitely on my list to check out too.
Hmm.
I think for me, what's most intriguing is how these tools can level the playing field for independent consultants.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a huge team or a ton of resources to use them.
That's a really good point. It's like suddenly everyone has access to the same kind of firepower.
Exactly. It's democratizing in a way.
I like that. Yeah, democratizing AI for consultants. It's got a nice ring to it.
I think we just came up with the title for this deep dive.
Uh-huh. Maybe so.
But okay, so we've got all these amazing tools.
Mm-hmm.
But the question is, how are consultants actually using them? Like, what are the real-world applications?
Yeah, let's get into that.
Because it's one thing to have a fancy AI tool,
Yeah.
but if you don't know how to use it effectively, it's not going to do you much good.
Exactly. You got to know how to wield it.
Exactly. So let's move on to that and talk about how consultants are actually leveraging AI to create value for their clients.
Sounds good to me. Let's do it.
So let's talk about how consultants are actually using these tools,
Yeah.
like in the real world. What are they doing with AI to add value for their clients?
Yeah, that's the big question, right? It's not enough to just have the tools. You got to know how to use them. And that's where things get interesting.
Definitely. So one of the articles you sent me, a piece from Forbes, was all about independent consultants.
Mm-hmm.
And it made this really interesting point about how AI is kind of leveling the playing field.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
CEOs were saying that AI is like an equalizer, It gives smaller players the power of those big consulting firms.
I can see that. Because it's always been a challenge, right? Like, how do you as an independent consultant compete with the resources of McKinsey or BCG?
Right, exactly. And AI can help bridge that gap in some ways. Think about platforms like Catalant. They use AI to connect businesses with super specialized consultants.
Yeah, I've heard of Catalan.
So in the past, only the big firms could afford to have like a massive network of experts on hand. But with these AI-powered platforms, even a solo consultant can get access to a much wider range of projects.
So they can go after projects they wouldn't have even considered before.
Exactly. And it's not just about talent either. AI can also give independent consultants access to market research and data analysis tools that they couldn't afford before. Like there's this platform called Graphite,
Graphic, okay.
and they use AI to analyze huge data sets and then give you customized insights. So basically, they're giving smaller firms the same level of market intelligence as the big guys.
Wow. It's like AI is not just making consultants more efficient, but also opening up entirely new possibilities for what they can offer.
Yeah, exactly. We're seeing consultants start to develop these really innovative new services. Like there was this example in one of the articles, it was from Wethos, and it talked about consultants specializing in AI strategy.
Oh, yeah. That's smart.
Right. So basically, they're becoming the go-to experts for companies that are trying to figure out how to use AI.
Because everyone needs an AI strategy now, it seems.
Pretty much. And the demand for that kind of expertise is only going to grow. So it's a smart move for consultants to be positioning themselves as the AI gurus.
Makes sense. So we've got AI helping consultants be more efficient, take on new types of projects, even compete with the big firms. It's like a whole new world out there. But the question that's probably on everyone's mind is, will this make us richer or obsolete?
Yeah, the million-dollar question, right?
Exactly. Will AI make consultants richer, or will it put us all out of a job?
Well, I think it's a bit of both, to be honest.
I don't know so.
So on the one hand, AI can definitely boost efficiency, right? You can automate a lot of the time-consuming tasks, which frees you up to take on more clients, potentially increase your revenue.
Right, more time for higher value activities.
Exactly. But on the other hand, there's also the potential for downward pressure on fees.
Because if AI can do some of the work for cheaper, then clients might expect to pay less overall.
Exactly. So there's this tension, right, between the potential to do more and the potential to earn less per project.
So how do you navigate that?
I think the key is to stay ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
To develop the skills that are going to be in high demand.
So it's not just about learning how to use the AI tools, it's about understanding the broader implications of AI and how it's going to change the consulting landscape.
Exactly. There was this great example in one of the articles. It was from Comatch. And it talked about how this one German reseller built their own AI tool in just 1 month.
Wow, that's fast.
Right. And it just shows how quickly things are moving in this space. So the takeaway is that technical skills are essential, but they're not the only thing that matters.
So what else is important?
Well, another article from MoveSpanan made a really good point. They said that AI is leveling the playing field, but the human skills, things like adaptability, critical thinking, client focus, those are more important than ever.
Because those are the things that AI can't do, at least not yet.
Right, exactly. So it's not about being replaced by AI. It's about learning to work alongside it effectively.
So let's talk about that then. Like,
Yeah.
how do we work alongside AI? What does that look like in practice? Especially when it comes to something as complex as strategy consulting.
That's a great question. And luckily, one of the documents you shared gives us some really good insights. It's a guide from Quantive on using AI for strategy consulting.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one. I really like how they framed it. They weren't talking about replacing consultants at all.
No, they were talking about making consultants better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like AI is your super-powered research assistant.
Yeah, I love that analogy. So imagine AI helping you analyze data, suggest relevant frameworks, pressure test your strategic recommendations. It's like having a whole team of analysts at your fingertips.
And it's not just about the analysis either. They even talked about how AI could help bridge the execution gap. You know how sometimes you come up with this brilliant strategic plan, but then actually implementing it is a whole other challenge?
Yeah, the execution gap. It's
Yeah.
a classic problem.
So Quantive was saying that AI can help with that too. Like it can help you turn those ideas into concrete actions and then track your progress along the way.
That's huge for clients, right?
Mm.
Because it's not just about getting a report, it's about seeing real results.
It's like having a crystal ball that shows you not just what might happen, but also how to make it happen.
Exactly. And that's what's so exciting about AI, I think. It has the potential to really transform how we approach strategy consulting.
But it's important to remember that it's still a tool,
Yeah.
right? It's not a magic bullet.
Right. It's not going to do the thinking for you.
We still need those human skills. The critical thinking, the creativity, the ability to build relationships with clients.
And actually, you know, it's funny. Even ChatGPT itself in that Forbes article talked about the importance of the human touch.
Really. It's becoming self-aware.
It's like it knows its limitations.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground. We've talked about the tools, the opportunities, the risks, even the philosophical implications of AI in consulting.
Mm.
But let's bring it back down to earth for a second. Like, what does all of this mean for someone like our listener? Someone who's trying to figure out how to navigate this crazy new world.
Right, good point. It can be overwhelming to think about.
So where do we even begin? What's the first step for a consultant who wants to start incorporating AI into their practice?
That's a good question.
Yeah, it can feel like drinking from a fire hose sometimes.
Totally. So much information, so many tools changing so fast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So where do we even start? What's step one for a consultant who's like, okay, I get it. AI is important. I need to do something. How do I actually start using it?
Well, I think the first thing is to just start exploring. Check out some of the tools we've talked about, see what's out there, what catches your eye.
Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty.
Yeah, exactly. Play around with them, see what works for you. There are tons of resources available too, like online tutorials, workshops, even full-blown courses.
Oh, for sure. It can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
You don't have to become an AI expert overnight. Just start with one or two tools that seem intriguing and go from there.
Yeah, I think that's key. You don't want to get analysis paralysis.
Totally.
Yeah.
And as you become more familiar with the tools, then you can start thinking about how to leverage them, to create new services or enhance your existing offerings.
Exactly. Like, let's say you're a market research consultant. You could use AI to analyze client data and identify trends that you would never have spotted manually.
Right.
Yeah.
Or maybe you're a strategy consultant. You could use AI-powered tools to automate some of your research and analysis, which frees up your time to focus on the higher level thinking.
Exactly. It's all about finding ways to use AI to augment what you're already doing, to make you better, faster, more efficient.
But always keeping in mind that it's a tool, not a magic bullet.
Right. AI is not going to replace human judgment.
We still need those core consulting skills, the
Yeah.
critical thinking, the creativity, the communication, the ability to build relationships with clients.
And those skills might become even more valuable as AI takes over some of the more technical tasks.
Because at the end of the day, it's still humans who are making the decisions.
Exactly. And it's humans who are ultimately responsible for the outcomes.
So really, it's about raising the bar for ourselves as consultants. We need to keep learning, adapting, finding new ways to add value in this AI-powered world.
And that's the exciting part, I think.
Yeah.
This is a chance for us to really push ourselves to become even better at what we do.
I love that perspective. It's not about being afraid of AI. It's about embracing the possibilities.
Exactly. It's about seeing AI as a partner, not a threat.
A partner that can help us achieve things we never thought possible.
And that's what I think makes this whole conversation so fascinating. It's not just about the technology. It's about what that technology enables us to do.
It's about pushing the boundaries of what's possible in the world of consulting.
And I think that's something that all consultants can get excited about, no matter what your area of expertise is.
Absolutely. So for anyone listening who's feeling a little overwhelmed or unsure about how to get started, just remember, you're not alone.
We're all figuring this out together.
And the most important thing is to just stay curious.
Yeah.
Keep learning. Keep experimenting. And don't be afraid to ask for help.
There's a whole community of consultants out there who are going through the same thing.
And who are eager to share their knowledge and experiences.
Exactly. So don't be a stranger. Reach out, connect, and let's navigate this exciting new world together.
Well said. I think that's a perfect note to end on. So to all our listeners out there, we hope this deep dive has given you some food for thought and maybe even inspired you to start exploring the world of AI in consulting.
And remember, the future is what we make it. So let's go out there and make it awesome.
Couldn't have said it better myself. That's a wrap, everyone. Thanks for joining us.